See if Brandy can adjust the light a little bit. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Let her peep and see what's going on. We had Ashton ready to go, ready to click the button. Um, Brandy has studies this morning, and they took the power in South Africa, load shedding. So I got a little bit of dancing going on because of the green. There we go. Now we got the lighting right, huh? Somebody say thank you, Brandy. Ashton should say thank you, Brandy. These guys have been doing an incredible job. You see what Brandy, Brandy's been holding the front here. Ashton was doing the whole World Economic Congress on that side, and so we finished on yesterday, and we're back. We're back. What a powerful time to be a part of a very historical birthing and launching, and this is just the beginning. We'll be continuing for any of you that have been watching the World Economic Congress. I was asked to be a part of that myself with Dr. Pearl Kope, the president of Zimbabwe, our beloved ambassador, Arikana, and some of the largest movers and shakers in our nation, in the world, not in our nation, in the world, world changes. So I'm not going to be on long this morning, coming to you from ATL, from our Teen Pregnancy Center, the Vision House, because we're going to be ministering to girls, more than just those with dealing with the pregnancy, crisis pregnancy, and all. But those that are questioned and trapped with a lot of PK kids too, that are struggling with their sexuality, as well as, because we got 3 floors here at the house, at the Vision House. Girls that have been rescued out of trafficking. So we collaborated and partnered with a woman that's very, very powerful, has an incredible work that she's doing. And so for Christmas, we took on 19 girls to make Christmas for them and their babies who decided not to abort their babies, who had gotten impregnated by their traffickers. So we were so glad to be a part of that. And so we are a safe house, for place for when they're in transition, need a safe place to get to. So boy, this is going to be a busy place in just a few more, in a few more weeks, really. So we're pushing to try to get everything done by March. We have a lot before us. We know that also because March, the first week of March, is our Soul Sisters Empowering the World. My word this morning is for men and women, both. We wanted to highlight, during African American History Month, women that changed their world. And I want you to see the pattern of, you've heard me teach this before, any of you that have followed me for some time, that Ezer means rescuer. And you'll see times when Israel is in trouble, the world is in trouble, there's great distress or whatever, God will also call on a woman and to be the rescuer. And so we have so many different accounts, and we're going to bring some of those out today. So when we look at what's going on in our nation today, and from the position of the culture and the cancel culture, and the whole, there's so much unrest and confusion, children confused about their identity, and division, and amongst views and political parties, and church divided, and the immorality of the things that we see, the rebellion of young people, just anarchy, we said before, tearing up statues, and and the police, brutality, the police not doing what they should be. It's just so much. It almost reminds you of anybody remember Marvin Gaye's ball? Was it I think the Temptations did Ball of Confusion. My brother was just talking about this the other day. And then I think Marvin Gaye did What's Going On. That's what it was. What's going on? And just talking about, regentrification and everything that's happening. Well, I want to remind every woman and every man that's watching as well, that when things get tough, when we've seen these type of times repeated over and over and over again throughout the Bible and the days that we're living in now, you'll see the pattern of God to call on a woman. And that word Ezer means a rescuer. And interesting, it's used in the same place where it's rescuer, it's helper, and we find it in the Word of God. It's the same reference word when we see, I look unto the hills from which cometh my help. My help cometh from the Lord. He reserves the concept of that type of a help for a woman, for women. So let's look at some of the women as we celebrate African American History Month as well. Mary McLeod Bethune. When I was a little young girl, I wanted this Pam remember this. My aunt, who was, I think she was an AKA. She was a part of the Young Women's Progressive Club. I wonder does Pam remember that she was an AKA? She an educator, historian, and a librarian. It's amazing that she decided to go that route, historian and librarian. She must have loved to do research. Our birthdays were literally one day apart. She was March 14th, I'm March 15th. And she and her friend, Evelina Claiborne, would get together every Saturday, and they would do summer field trips. You know how even today they were going on a tour to a lot of the historical Black universities. But on this particular trip, it wasn't a trip to tour historical Black universities. The Baptists, I think we were National Baptists. I think we were because when you had National Baptist, American Baptist, whatever, I think, guess we were National Baptist. They were having their convention in Florida. And so, of course, they decided that we're going to Florida. They would take this trip, this tour on an opportunity for us to go to see the historical site of Mary McLeod Bethune. And my aunt wanted us to know all about it and all about her life. And it's amazing how that stayed with me. It's so stayed with me. And when you look at a girl who wanted to become a missionary. Mary McLeod Bethune wanted to become a missionary. So you know that resonates with my heart. And she wanted to be a missionary to teach like African kids to be able to go to, to be a school teacher, to teach there, to go and to be an educator in Africa. But in the Presbyterian denomination and faith, Black people, African Americans, could not be a missionary. Versace, please. He's chewing on a slipper, guys. And so at 29 years old, she couldn't do that. So at 29, she said, I can't go and be a missionary. And she wanted to help teach children. And she wanted kids to be able to go to school. But she looked around at the trouble, the calamity, the problem, the crisis. Women called during crisis. That's why I should have labeled this today. Women called during crisis to be a solution. That's what Sisters Empowering the World is all about. So at 29 years old, she mustered up as best she could $1.50. Can you believe that? I love history. $1.50, and she started the school with 6 students, her son and 5 girls. And they would take crates and make a desk out of crates, and would take charcoal and write and make a pencil out of charcoal. Talk about using what you got to do what you need to do. And so with that, she started the school for girls. And, of course, African Americans at that time, as far as education was concerned, there were little to no paths of open door to move forward with education to progress in that area. And so she became a game changer. She changed her world with education. And so we want to highlight her today. And we'll highlight one every single day, but also we want to parallel having a hot one. Y'all, I've had 2 back to back and I've not even had any sugar. What's this going on here? Oh, I know what it is. Here at all this construction is going on here. Like, you guys see me putting this on for you in the morning, but as soon as this live ends, I got construction construction gear on. Okay, so we have to, the floors literally are being baked, so to speak. They had to turn the heat up so high for this floor to dry. So because when they come in today, they've done the final coat. We had to do a floor that can take a lot of trafficking, and that the kids of the mothers or whatever can spill stuff on it. So could y'all just give me a moment? It's getting much better. I could leave the site and then go turn on the fan, but that probably wouldn't look right professional anymore than it does with me fanning. But this is Doc. We're going to keep it real, okay? So Mary McLeod Bethune is who we highlight this morning. And in the Word of God, let's go to the Word. To the Word, we want to look at Deborah. Deborah, just as Mary McLeod Bethune, I want you to look at the pattern of how God calls on a woman when there's trouble, when there's crisis, just when he needs someone to rescue. So why would there be any different now? So everything we see going on, and there's some crazy stuff going on now. Why would women even think to retreat? Mary McLeod Bethune had mustered up $1.50. What excuse do we have? And she didn't do it just for her own child, her son, but so that other kids could be educated. This so reflects her voice. When you go to her voice, when you hear us say, go to her voice, www.hervoice.myshopify.com, Val is like a modern day Mary McLeod Bethune. She stays on top of the grades of these students, getting them in school in Haiti, and on top of the grades of these students in Lesotho, and on this Somali Kenya border. Pastors Ascen's son, daughter, I mean, we've scholarship those in Congo. And she had to follow up on and make sure that they were doing what they're supposed to do. And when they're not doing what they're supposed to do, she handles it. Students that, I mean, ones that have wanted to go to nursing school. I mean, just to give children an opportunity to be educated. And so the things you see, like all the her voice jewelry and the things you see me wearing, we say, go to the website and you see all the ethnic wear. That is all our fundraising arm of the ministry. And I really like to say, I don't really like to say fundraising, but let's stop saying that. Let's start saying it is the global trade arm of the ministry to provide dignity, to restore dignity, and to provide trade. We're giving trade, not aid, for the women there so that they can send their own kids to school and have their own wells dug. And so it's that same whole thing, women coming together to strengthen other women, to be the game changers, to be the rescuer, to be the solution. In essence, be the change we want to see, right? So in with Deborah, we see that same type of woman, and these are the what kind of women I'm called to. There are women that sit around and they gossip and they look, all their whole life is criticizing what somebody else doesn't do, and they're this and they're that, and they find they feel good about themselves, and they feel lifted up by picking apart and tearing other people down. Really pretty narcissistic, really. But then there are women that talk about things, there are women that talk about people, and there are women that are on the spiritual journey of getting fed themselves. And then my whole thing, when I think about Ephesians 4:11, when it talks about the functionality of the fivefold giftings, that those fivefold giftings, all five of them, are for the perfecting of the saints to do the work of the ministry. So after you all of this with the prophetic, after you get all this with the prophetic, then what? And then when you get all of this with the apostolic, then what? And then when you get all of this and get developed as a teacher, then what? And evangelistic, then what? So now it's to go do the work. It's not for us to live from Zoom to Zoom and Instagram to Facebook to YouTube to conference and seminar after seminar, getting fed ourselves. What are we doing after we get the word of God to change our world, to change the time, to change the culture, to literally transform the culture? We can do this. It's been done before. When we think about Deborah, so I talked about the time with Mary McLeod Bethune. At that time, there was a wall. She was up against two brick walls. One was she couldn't go be the missionary she wanted to become. So instead of her letting that defeat her, she took the lemons, turned it into lemonade, and said, you know what? I can't go teach them there, but it's a great need here too for kids to be educated. And with $1.50. And each child was only to pay 50 cents a week to go to school. And the poorest of poorest kids that couldn't even afford the 50 cents a week, no child was turned away. No child left behind. Now let's fast forward to Deborah. We see in the life of Deborah as well another type of a crisis, a need. Look at God calling on his women when there is a need. I think that's one of the reasons why the enemy try to get women all caught up into the pettiness and not rising above and flying higher, as I always say, flying higher above pettiness, jealousy, comparing, bitterness, unforgiveness, backbiting, gossiping, hating. Women that are focused and on the move and are purpose driven and goal oriented and finishers, you really don't have time to spend your time thinking about, well, wonder what they think about me. It's such a great need out here. When I'm out there ministering we take the team out and team up with Minister Scott, and those people that are on Skid Row that are homeless, they don't care. They don't care anything about whether you have a degree. They don't care what denomination you represent. They don't care what you look like. They care that you care. And that's what matters. When we look at Deborah here, she as well was called on at a time. I hope this is encouraging some women and men that are watching this morning, even though we're focusing on women as we're challenging and stirring women for sisters in power in the world that's coming. With Judges 4 through 9. Here we see in the life of Deborah, here was a time when I thought Val would have sent me the scripture. She just referenced Judges 4 through 9. Val, send me the actual text, baby. Judges 4th chapter 4 through 9. We see where, here's the deal. The Canaanites, which is crazy, because watch this, guys. It's the same the same challenge today, where the Canaanite, which are Palestinians today, that same strip of land, that same group of people, they were coming against the Jews. And, this was land that God had promised the children of Israel. He promised the Jews this land. And they rode, the Canaanites were up against the children of Israel. And again, some of the men were afraid of the Canaanites. And so they called on Deborah, who was a judge. And Deborah's like, I'm going to go to battle, but don't you think you're going to take the credit? But look at the need at the time. There was strong oppression, very strong oppression of the Canaanites against the Jews. And during this strong oppression, God takes this woman to be the rescuer. I'm here to tell you that there is a type of oppression that has hit the world, not just our nation, that has hit the world to pressure our children towards lawlessness, to pressure our children towards lewdness, to pressure our children towards promiscuity and perversion. And just when you look at some of this stuff, it's just sick. But we can stop it. The Bible was very clear that in the last days people's minds would be reprobate. And if they could, if the side of darkness and media and all, if they can have their way, they would just be done with Christians. As a matter of fact, one of my friends was just telling me from Jamaica, one of my dear friend Apostle in Jamaica was saying, she's sending me the report where the UN has openly declared that Judeo-Christians, we are the problem with things progressing forward, with progression and the new world order and the reset, because we still hold fast to these biblical, archaic, primitive truths. Well, these archaic biblical truths that we embrace and we hold on to are the same universal truths that have held culture, society, and the world together from the beginning of time. Job, I love the way Job said it. I think it's around the 39th chapter. Where were you, UN? And where were you, these different political parties? And where were you, these different interest groups, when the world was being framed, when the stars were put in the galaxy, when God was prescribing order and then the ordinances of heaven? Where were you? Where were you? So God's been around before the beginning of time. He wrote the book of life in the sense that it was inspired by the Holy Spirit, and he knows the principles that it takes for this life to work, for us to have a good life, that it may be well with us. With Deborah, these Palestinians, these Canaanites were coming in on Israel, threatening Israel, and she rose up and became a rescuer. Again, God calling on a woman during a time of crisis. That same clarion call is today, as with Miriam McLeod Bethune, as it is with Deborah. It's not a time to keep silent. It's not a time to resort to our comfort and just think about our children. I'm challenging women to come together. Let's mobilize. Let's come together. We already have the strategies. We're talking about practical application strategies for women on March the 4th through the 7th who want to be and who are already women of action. As one can put 1,000 to flight, two can put 10,000. As we bring our power together, our resource together, our focus together, our initiatives together, our everything, our skills, our prayer, our faith together, we can change the times. And the longer we wait to mobilize, and the longer we wait to push forward in a strong presence, another alternative, another narrative, the longer we wait to, and the strategies that we have, it's a social media strategy, it is a media strategy, because we're on 3 different television networks. I've been doing television, guys, for 30 years, okay? And a media strategy, a strategy with curriculum. You've seen us writing the books, and we've rolled out another book, which is The Black Patriots. Of course, Ashton's not able to put it on the screen because he has load sharing. I'm like, oh, I was so hoping you guys would be able to see it. But if you go to my Facebook page and you go to our website, patriciabailey.org, you will see Patriots of Color, which is the story depicting and telling the untold story of unsung heroes of the people of color who were a part of the American Revolution and the Civil War as well. So we write about them, men and women, so that what they're endeavoring to do to teach our children wrong, we have a strategy against that, not only just with education, but also in getting to the value systems. changing. They are strategically through television, through movies, through particular shows, through music, and through just so many different things, getting certain celebrities that are celebrating or standing for a particular lifestyle, and the children see it and start embracing that. We don't hate anyone. We don't hate anyone. We want our children. There is still a biblical value to wait before having sex, not to have sex before marriage. I know that's archaic. That's crazy. Like, who thinks like that these days? But it's proven to be a biblical principle that's true, that it may be well with you. So they think you're crazy to even to teach purity, sexual purity in an age like today. Are you serious, Doc? Yes, we still teach it. We still, because to be holy means to raise the bar, to keep the bar raised. Because if the church lowers the bar, then what on earth would the rest of the world do? We are the salt of the earth. We are the light to the world. We can't try to get in where we don't fit in. We're called to be set apart. We're called to be different. And we have YUGO, Young Adults United for Global Outreach, and we're rallying young people from around the world. We've done it for over 30 years. Oh my gosh, it's hard to believe. Over 35 years we've been rallying this together, to bring young people together. For years we've done Jamaica for Jesus. Then we have Global Leadership Training Center, where we train on a higher level, because there are some young people that don't want things dumbed down for them. There's some that are intelligent, that are hungry, that are thirsty, that are going hard after God and seeking God hard. They want to eat from a higher table. Okay, they don't dumb it down for me. And so we have these things in place, as well as networking with other ministries and other people. Tresh Deshil, I need you. Dr. Pastor Teresa up in New York, and it's just the so many women that are out there. Pastor Franco, Pastor Desi, so many, as we come together. But this is not just women, men and women. Pastor Gann, Pastor Carter in Phoenix. Thank God for my pastor, Dr. Bill Winston, who is a major. We just got our support from him on yesterday. Pastor Timothy McBride. Oh my gosh, how much he has been a support to the ministry. So with this whole, our goal and our aim to change the mindset, even concerning life and the value of life, and that abortion is not to be used as birth control. That's the whole crazy mindset is gone, And there used to be a time you used to hear a lot about birth control pills being pushed, and you don't hear that anymore. And we're not condemning anybody, but we can be there as aunties to offer an alternative path that leads to life. The same way Mary McLeod Bethune gave an alternative to kids just not being educated. There is a solution. We're going to take a crate and turn it into a desk. We're going to take charcoal and turn it into a pencil. And we're going to start with 6 kids. And the rest is history. Deborah, she didn't go running and hiding. She decided, I'm going to take on this. I'm going to take on the challenge. I'm going to take the battle to the enemy's gate. And today I'm speaking to women. That's what March the 4th to the 7th is all about. Whether you're a part of SOA or not, we still want you to come together. Let's network together. Every pastor's wife, every woman that's in ministry, every man that's in ministry, every believer, every person that's a citizen in the kingdom of Almighty God. Can't you see? Can't you see the handwriting on the wall? Can't you see the things that the enemy is doing? We also have something that's called community, where it's like an alert. When we see different things that's out there, we drop it in that community app. I got to stay on Brandon to make sure she puts that information out there today, because some of you have been asking for it. You saw me put on Facebook the other day. I was saying I've seen things that made me weep. Was being put in front of the children made me weep, and I got to make sure those things are dropped in community. So if you want to be a part of community, so that you can be on top of all the things, it's our watchdog, our fact checking, part of what we do with our strategy. And that is, you literally text 310-347-4524, and we'll disseminate the information to you. And then it's up to you to take it, pick it apart, and decide to move it forward, pass it on forward or not. What we can't do is avert our eyes and turn a deaf ear. We can't opt to do anything. Edmund Burke, the only thing that's needed for evil to rule is for good people to choose to just do absolutely nothing. Now, the other thing I want to speak to you about is that Mary McLeod Bethune did not drag her feet. Deborah did not drag her feet. If you're a world changer and a woman that wants to change the world, I believe that we can get to the culture of our girls and get to the minds of our girls, from those swinging on a pole to those trying to decide what they're going to do about the life inside of them, from those who are out just literally being a victim of sexual exploitation, and some that against their will have been lured into human trafficking. We don't want to be the solution. We are the solution. And our part, my part, and your part can begin right here where I am right now, this Vision House. And we have that same mindset to be a solution, not just in these United States, but in South Africa as well, with our Vision House in South Africa, which we own the properties, paid cash for the property in South Africa, gated community. These kids are going to live and get an opportunity to be around, to be in opulence, that they can see that this lifestyle of opulence and dreaming and daring to achieve is not just for one ethnicity of people, and to pour into their lives. And we're having skills and classes and all kinds of skill set classes. And the same with the girls here, life skills. And we're welcoming women who says, Doc, I'd like to come and teach on, just how to balance their money, or someone to try to teach them about nutrition, whatever you feel like you've always wanted to pour into this generation. Instead of just sitting around the dinner table, or when you go out to eat, or on the phone or online, talking about what we see that's straying away, further and further away from what we know to be values of virtue and modesty. We can save this generation. We can turn it around. I've been doing this for 4 decades. This whole thing with sexual purity, they thought I was crazy 4 decades ago. But I have young daughters of mine who are wives now. I'm not going to call their name, that when they walked down that aisle, they were virgins. The husband attests. And so, you just keep the bar raised, and we can change our world. And so I just want to keep coming to you. These are just times to inspire you, to say that we must be the voice and we have to do something. And I'm galvanizing and I'm rallying women from around the world on March the 4th through the 7th, the same way we all came together for the World Economic Congress, for the reconstruction of Africa and the wealth of Africa. It's a group of like-hearted women and men, from the president of Zimbabwe to Ambassador Arikana to Dr. Pearl Coupe, myself, and so many, many, many others, who was saying enough is enough. And gone is the time, a far gone era of just writing about it, talking about it. It's a call to action. So I would love for us to link together. I need what you have in every joint supplies. I can't do it all. You have a vital part. You're listening to me and you've been watching me. You have a vital part that we need. Don't take your contribution. Don't take your part to the grave. Don Barnes, don't take your assignment to the grave. Every last one of us have a part. I'm going to be reaching out to friends of mine who pastor, female pastors, and saying, guys, we can do this. They're not smarter than us. They're not stronger than us. And what the enemy does is he just keeps pushing the ground and seeing how far you'll take it, pushing the stakes and see how far you'll take it. And if we just don't do anything, they just get more and more lewd until it's like no barrier, no boundary, no standard anymore. And is that fair to the children? And the answer is no. So one of the things you could do is let's counteract what's in those textbooks that are circulating around by getting these books out there that are affirming, got it, this one turned upside down here, always gets me because we got the little boy on his head, affirming their identity. You can go to the website, patriciabailey.org. You can call us, 336-917-2630. You can call Pam, 678-360-0076. And these books not only affirm their identity, but there's a confession at the back that they make, a daily confession, so that when the school teacher tries to teach them something different about their identity, their house is already built upon the rock. And we put a little message in each one of the books as well. And then for concerning the new history that they're teaching a different history, not the AP history that we knew. And it is so negative, and it's like an anti-government, and yes, with the new book that we did, we wrote and said that there are things in our history that we regret, and there are things we can't forget, but also the same things that we've done with the mistakes of our past. We serve a God by his grace that has given us the ability, united together, to move forward. And so we want the right story to be told to the children. Unsung heroes, Latinos are part of the revolution. Uh, Freed slaves are part of the American Revolution. I said the First Nation, the Iroquois, and other different First Nation Indians, they were part of the Revolution and the Civil War. The role that Harriet Tubman played, the role of James Amistad Lafayette, and different one, Bernardo de Galvez, who played significant roles in the history of our nation and us becoming what we know, the United States of America. So we want that story to be told. So we have that book out there to be our counteract against the wiles of the enemy to sway our children in a different direction. There's so many different strategies that we're doing, even when we come together on March the 4th to the 7th, teaching you how to actually deal with laws and bills and lobby, and who do you call and what do you do when you're frustrated and you want to do something that's going to bring about a change and not just talk about it. Let's come together. And women, we have to understand something. We have to be bigger. This is much bigger than ourselves. What we're fighting for is the future destiny of our children and the emerging generation of young people. If we don't turn the times, if we don't place resistance against the tactics of the enemy, it'll be several years down the road. You know, for the last couple of weeks, I've been exposing and teaching about Margaret Sanger and how in 1920 and 21, openly stating that her plan with the Negro Project for depopulating a ethnic group of people, proclaiming us as weeds in society, that we should have never been born. And yet, the founder of Planned Parenthood in our communities, we hail and embrace Planned Parenthood. When you look at the 12 things they say that every child should know by age 5, it's alarming. So we just sit silent and we don't do anything about that? Well, no, we're not sitting silent on this end. We have things that we are, and especially the curriculum with the comprehensive sexual education that is funneled through World Health Organization. So wake up, guys. Remember, we came back up under WHO again. Guess what's up under WHO? Not just the health part, but the comprehensive sex education is up under that whole agenda. If you look at the books and see what's in the books, it is alarming. And we can't sleep on our watch. So I'm going to continue to be this watchman on the wall and to be this activist, this child activist that says, guess what? Kids are not just turning up missing. And especially when the numbers of the most missing children are African American children and children of color, and mostly little girls. We're bringing people that will bring exposure on what to look for and teach us how to be greater watchmen and the signs to look for, that we would know what to look for. I'm telling you, we have the power on our side. Greater is he that's in us than he that is in the world. The dominion mandate in the earth, God gave it to us. So no matter what the enemy tries to do, if God be for us, I'm calling women and men alike. Let's come together. Let's mobilize. And there are things that you can do that just take a little tiny effort, like a letter or a phone call, an email, or forwarding a post, or doing a like and a share. There are things you can do. Like, there are women. One of the ladies that's watching. Let me show you some of the little things we can do for the child pregnancy center. This wasn't on my agenda for the first quarter of the year. I thought I was going to be in sunny California with my beloved 3 grandchildren who are the love of my life and the joy of my life. I mean, I look at Christian and he melts my heart when I look at him. I can't hardly even say no. He's so charming and adorable. And Kingston, the Christian is just the love, makes my heart melt. Christian, Kingston is the joy. He's the one. He is the laughter, the joy, the entertainment, oh my God, the humor, the just peeked out, make my heart patter and laugh and joy. That's Kingston. And that Tia Mia, that's my little pride of my life. And so those 3, I would love to be out there with them in the sunny California, but there was a mandate, just like there was a clarion call for Deborah and a clarion call for Mary McLeod Bethune, for every woman watching and every man too, in this hour that we're living in right now. And we have a narrow window to turn things around. And it's not just praying, and it's not just fasting, it is doing strategies, logistics, and practical applications. Trust me, if we don't do something, this narrow window, and we miss it, it could take us many years. Again, remember what Margaret Sanger did 100 years ago, what she put in motion. What she put in motion has affected our culture for 100 years. The whole value system, the value system of African Americans were totally different concerning the sanctity of life. And now look, almost 1 out of every 2 unborn children. Our death rate exceeding our birth rate. We could just keep letting that go and not do anything about it. And just show you how everybody can do something. I showed these last night, just the little onesies that Janice Parks and a group of women, I guess, I don't know, were a part of the company called Bambina. Very high quality little onesies. And oh my God, I said, even just looking at the little onesies make you go, oh, these little babies. Like, how could anyone not, even with the sexual exploitation with children and stuff, like, who could ever hurt a child? So I'm an advocate, a child advocate. Protect the children, protect the children, protect the children. Come on, guys. They are our future. We have to protect them. So we came up with an idea to make things so easy, because we find out that some people want to do, but they're so busy and they just want to make it easy. So made it easy for you. Go to the website, patriciabailey.org, and you're going to see the arm of our site connected to it, where you can actually go and buy the baby clothes for the mothers, the bottles, the diapers, the onesies. So, and that mother that you purchase for those of you who want for that particular mother, you get to be in her life, not just when she has the baby, but continue with her in her life, like we did with Albertina. So we want to build community again, and build aunties again, and big mamas again around the young girls, and say, baby girl, sit down, let me talk to you, let me talk to your head. Your head is stuck on stupid right now. I just need to talk to your head. And some of them don't have that big mother person in their life. They really don't. Many are babies having babies. So we're going to also have gift cards, like gift cards where you can take like a $25 gift card, a $10 gift card, a $50 gift card, a $100 gift card. And like, I'd like to do Pampers, I'd like to do milk, I'd like to do onesies, I'd like to do whatever. And the little baby clothes and everything, we're going to make it so easy. You don't have to go anywhere. And then the proceeds go right back into the center here for the girls. Isn't that incredible? Then also, don't forget to go to Her Voice, because all the things that are out there on Her Voice, hervoice.myshopify.com, what's going to happen? Funneling right back here to the center. So we got a lot of things. We got 5 toilets that need to be replaced. We got some underground plumbing things that we have to deal with. We got some foundation. I mean, it's like a lot of work that needs to be done. Huge work. And we're just doing it step by step, day by day, by faith. And we welcome you to come. We have one of the ladies that's a dear friend of mine, Diane Davis. She's coming today saying, Doc, I'll be here around noon. I'm coming to push up my sleeves and help and see what I can do. Just like Ramona and Eunice and Cheryl did. And like Tony did with her family, and that incredible niece of hers that did painting like more professional than any painter than I've ever seen. So some of you women that be watching saying, I can paint, hey, I can lay tile, I can put whatever you can do. Every part makes a difference, and every joint supplies. And just like Mary McLeod Bethune, and like that of Deborah, we will not opt out, to do nothing and just sit back and watch the way things are going. We are mothers, and there's something about mothers. There's something about what God gave to us as women, easer, rescuer, helper, that when we come together, and I'm asking you, like, who are you mentoring? What are you doing to change the times? Who are you working with? Well, let's come together. Let's take the group that you're working with, come together. We just have a little tiny part, and we'd like to let the dots connect, because if we unite together, the enemy is he's just no match for the believer in any kind of way. He just makes a lot of noise, and he's very visible. We just need to be more strategic, and I can't wait to hear from you. I want you to start putting in the chat right now. Start putting in the chat, Doc, I'm on board. Doc, I want to be a part. And if it's just a little tiny part, you may think it's a little tiny part, but like Janice Parks with the onesies, like to her, that might have been a little tiny part, whatever she did to get this company to give or whatever. But guess what? When that mother and the baby's born and she doesn't have to go buy onesies, we have a whole storehouse that we're putting together for a storehouse, to envision where they can just go in and just like instead of having to go to Walmart, Target, whatever, everything they need is right in the storehouse. And they begin to see, the church as being relevant in the community, making a difference, and not just marching in front of an abortion center and protesting, but no, showing the love of God and say, come here, baby girl. You made this decision. There's life after this decision. So we're pro-life because we're pro-action. And we can't say we're pro-life and not be pro-action. Till next time, this is Dr. Pat. Don't forget to go to hervoice.myshopify.com. And women, don't drag your feet on March the 4th through the 7th. Go to sistersempoweringtheworld.org or .com. Can't put it on the screen now, but go there. Register when you put your $25 down. That holds your spot, and you get and the reason why I'm giving this year one of the Global Leadership Training Center curriculum to every single woman that's a Sisters Empowering the World, World Changer woman, because you've got to have a world view. You can't just be watching the local typical common news of America and not know what's going on. You need to, if you were watching Al Jazeera or BBC and different ones, you'll see a whole different worldview than the narrative they keep trying to force to us in America about the world and what's happening in the world. So that's all we got for today. Please support us with the books. I don't know if I mentioned the proceeds from the book go right here to help finance the Vision House in South Africa and the Vision House here as well. Every pastor that's watching, male or female, every pastor that's watching, I need your help. And I need your help now. Not because we're desperate or begging, but because I want you to be a part of something that's history making, and that we can look back and say a group of women got around a tea party, a table, and got prayer out of the school. A group of women got together, Margaret Sanger, and pushed this whole agenda and changing the view of the sanctity of life. Well, guess what? A group of us can get together and change the times, just like Deborah did, just like Mary McLeod Bethune did. And that's all we got for you today. And I can't wait to hear from you. Put on there, you can call me at 336-917-2630. You can call me and reach me quicker by 678-360-0076. Some of you want to just sow a seed. Thank you. We welcome your seed. We're not ashamed to say we welcome your seed for the life of the unborn child, for the life of that mother, for the Vision House of those orphans in South Africa, and to help us to continue to do the work. We're in this thing deep. We're walking on the water. We're out here deep. I'm telling you, we've come too far to turn back now. And I'm so honored for every last person that has helped us, for every last person that has prayed, for every last person that's made that sacrifice to go the extra mile to give birth to this. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. All gratitude, and to his name be praised for your sacrifice, and may God return to you in the area that you're trusting him the most. If you want to give, you can several ways you can give. You can give by PayPal, Cash App, Zelle. Go to the website, or just call Pam at 336. I'm sorry, call Pam at 678 360-0076. Brandy was saying, Doc, instead of doing all those numbers, just send people to the main number, 336-917-2630. And from there, all the calls will be directed in the direction that they need to go. We love you so, so, so much. And in my heart of hearts, I know God, I feel his presence. He's going to crown our effort with success. Like yesterday, it seemed almost, and I don't let those words come out of my mouth, it was almost overwhelming because there was a lot going on. You know, the contractors, and we're birthing so many different things at one time, and making sure that everything about the book came out right. And want to thank God for Dr. Shirley Clark, who was phenomenal. I mean, she is a woman on a mission. If you want a book done and a book done under pressure, reach out to her, Shirley Clark. She's on Clubhouse all the time. Lillian Davis, who is an incredible graphic artist, and my nephew Cedric Spann, who was the illustrator, the artist and the illustrator for the pictures. There are a lot of people want to do children's books and thinking like, I need an illustrator. Cedric Spann is phenomenal. I'm not just saying it because he's my nephew. And then my whole team that holds everything together, that understand that we're called to these times. We're not called to a job. We're called and we have an assignment for these times. And that's Pam and Val and Yolanda and Brandy and Seal and Miss McDaniel and Mama T and Eunice and Cheryl and Ramona and Terry, and the list goes on, and Ashton and the list just goes on and on. I think I said Val as well. There's a team that just keeps pressing, our prayer team that's so very powerful, that are the pillar to the ministry, and I am grateful for you as well. Please take this, and one of the things you can do to help to get the word out about the Vision House here is share, 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 share. We still need somebody to put our windows in. Carolyn Kelly donated the windows, paid for the windows, she and her husband, and the person that was supposed to put it in just keeps dragging their feet week after week, and we need those windows in. So also too, I'm so excited about guests that I'm going to be having, international guests tomorrow. One of our first, it will be our first international guest here at the Teen Pregnancy Center tomorrow, and I can't say who it is, but it's a very renowned guest that's going to be here and be right here in the midst of seeing things as we're progressing and moving forward. I want you to have a blessed and overcoming day. Don't forget to share this. How hard is it? It costs you no money to just say like and comment and share. Like and comment and share. And hop over to my YouTube channel, subscribe, and hit the notification button. And before the day is over, you might as well, while you're doing that, just go right on over to the official Dr. Pat Bailey on Instagram and just begin to follow me there. As we rally together, our platform for getting the word out is through social media. Also, too, guys, know this, that little always becomes much when we place it in the hand of the master. So don't ever think that your part is insignificant. I can't wait to hear from you. God bless you. Have an overcoming day. And Brandy taught me how to end this by myself. I guess it would help if I put glasses on, huh? So that I can see. They're teaching me how to do all of this. Let's see. I guess it's stop streaming. I can't remember if she said exit or stop streaming. Well, guess what? We're going to try stop streaming first, and then we'll do exit. I'm learning. Look, I'm a baby boomer determined that I am not going to let technology outshine me. How about that? So we can do this